In the summer of 2009, the English media turned its focus on Wayne Rooney, relentlessly scrutinizing his weight instead of celebrating his talent. With Cristiano Ronaldo departing for Real Madrid and Carlos Tevez joining Manchester City, Rooney was left as Manchester United's main hope. But rather than discussing his ability to lead the club, the tabloids engaged in what was essentially schoolyard bullying, fixating on his physique. It wasn't news. Rooney had always had an unconventional build, one that made him a force of nature on the pitch. At just 16, he had already stunned the football world, stepping onto the field for Everton against Arsenal's Invincibles, proving he was no ordinary teenager. Even before making his professional debut, Rooney had established himself as England's greatest wonder kid, scoring 114 goals in 29 matches for Everton's under-11s and playing for the under-19s at just 14. His rise was meteoric, grabbing an assist on his first appearance, scoring a brace 2 weeks later, and then, in a moment that would last in history, unleashing a stunning 25-yard strike to end Arsenal's 30-match unbeaten run. The commentators' words, "Remember the name, Wayne Rooney," became prophetic. Everton fans believed he was destined to lead them back to glory, even as he remained a down-to-earth teenager, kicking a ball with friends in the streets and showing up to awards ceremonies chewing gum with his shirt undone. By November of his debut season, Rooney had Everton sitting just 3 points off the top of the league, seemingly on the verge of securing their first Champions League spot in 30 years. His performances earned him a lucrative contract, making him one of the highest-paid teenagers in the world. But despite his contributions, Everton was controversially denied a European place while teams finishing below them were given a golden ticket. Rooney, however, was already proving he belonged among the best, matching goal-scoring rates of legends like Alan Shearer and Dennis Bergkamp. At just 17, he was so well known that when he endured a goal drought, fans lamented the old Rooney as if he were a veteran. That season, Rooney finished as Everton's top scorer and was offered the most lucrative contract in the club's history, a 400% salary increase that would make him one of the highest-paid players in the league. But he kept them waiting for an answer, knowing he had a bigger stage ahead, the European Championship. As he entered Euro 2004, the media continued their obsession with his weight, with some publications cruelly calling him overweight. But once the tournament started, Rooney silenced his doubters in spectacular fashion, tormenting legendary defender Lilian Thuram in England's opener before scoring twice against Switzerland, becoming the youngest scorer in Euros history. He wasn't done. Against Croatia, he added another brilliant strike from distance and a solo goal after a 50-yard run, plus an assist. Suddenly, he was England's golden boy, the missing piece of the so-called golden generation. His performances were so electrifying that even after breaking his foot just 23 minutes into the knockout stage, he still made the team of the tournament and finished just 1 goal shy of the Golden Boot. England's hopes had been shattered, but Rooney's star had risen to new heights. With his market value doubling overnight, the scrutiny from the media only intensified. No longer focusing on his weight, tabloids now dug into his personal life, looking for any controversy. Given Rooney's sometimes reckless behavior, they had plenty to work with. Reports surfaced about his alleged visits to certain establishments, claims that he mistreated his girlfriend, though he later won a defamation lawsuit over the latter. At the same time, he rejected Everton's massive contract offer, making it clear that he was considering a move. Wayne Rooney's transfer to Manchester United was one of the most shocking moves in football history. With Real Madrid's presidential candidate using his name to fuel his campaign and both Sir Alex Ferguson and Sir Bobby Robson competing for his signature, his value skyrocketed. Against media skepticism and boardroom doubts, Sir Alex broke the transfer record for a teenager again, making Rooney the most expensive young player in football history at £37 million, nearly double what Cristiano Ronaldo had cost. The fee was enough to clear Everton's decade-long financial troubles, and even years later, only 2 under-18 players have been more expensive. Now, he had to prove he was worth the investment. It didn't take long. Less than a month after his arrival, Rooney made his Manchester United debut in the Champions League and delivered one of the greatest first appearances ever seen. 17 minutes in, he scored his first goal. 11 minutes later, he smashed in another from outside the box. Then, he completed his hat-trick with a free kick and even provided an assist. A year earlier, George Best had called Ronaldo's debut the most exciting he had ever seen, but Rooney raised the bar even higher. By the season's halfway mark, despite starting the year at a mid-table club, he was already ranked 18th in the Ballon d'Or voting. Rooney then hit another level. Over his next 10 matches, he contributed to 9 goals, scoring in massive games against Liverpool and in the Manchester Derby. He stunned Middlesbrough with 2 incredible strikes, one of which won BBC's goal of the season. By the summer, he was United's top scorer, despite sharing a dressing room with Cristiano Ronaldo, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Diego Forlan, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. His only issue was a lack of silverware, but that changed the following season. With his numbers improving to 29 goal contributions, he scored twice in the League Cup final, winning his first major trophy and positioning himself as England's biggest hope for the 2006 World Cup. Even Diego Maradona claimed Rooney could do for England what he had done for Argentina. However, disaster struck again. Rooney broke his foot for a second time before the season ended, but England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson insisted on taking him to the World Cup. His return was rushed. Some believed he ignored medical advice and skipped proper rehabilitation. He struggled throughout the tournament, managing to play a full match only in the knockout rounds. Then, in a defining moment, he lashed out, stamping on Ricardo Carvalho. Before he could even process what had happened, Ronaldo, his Manchester United teammate, was in the referee's face, demanding a red card. Rooney shoved him in disbelief, and moments later, he was sent off. Ronaldo's infamous wink to the Portugal bench made things even worse. By the time they returned to Manchester, Ronaldo was the most hated man in England, and Rooney was seen as an out-of-control hothead who couldn't stay fit. To make matters worse, he started the next season with a 10-game goal drought, fueling speculation that he had ignored medical advice ahead of the World Cup and ruined his own recovery. The pressure weighed on him. He later admitted he would lock himself away and drink for 2 days straight. But when he finally broke through with a hat-trick against Bolton, everything changed. He and Ronaldo finished the season with identical stats, 23 goals and 14 assists, leading United to the Premier League title and silencing their critics. But as Rooney reached his peak, Ronaldo reached superstardom. The following season, Rooney broke his foot yet again, though he returned with an 11-goal contribution streak in just 7 matches. Then his ankle gave out, and by New Year's, England had failed to qualify for the Euros. Meanwhile, Ronaldo lifted the Ballon d'Or. As Manchester United lifted the Champions League trophy, Rooney sat on the bench, watching. It should have been the greatest night of his career, but deep down, he knew it didn't feel right. Hours later, his coach, Mick Clegg, found him at the hotel bar. When asked why he wasn't celebrating, Rooney simply replied, "I'm so disappointed." He would get another chance to shine, but it never quite worked out. That summer, instead of returning with a vengeance, Rooney was spotted smoking on his honeymoon. Shortly after, he caught a virus, spending months recovering. Even when he regained fitness, his luck didn't change. After a standout performance in the Club World Cup, he limped off the pitch with yet another injury. Meanwhile, Ronaldo, despite being frustrated by United blocking his move to Real Madrid, kept stealing the spotlight. Each time Rooney stepped up in the Champions League, Ronaldo responded with a goal that defied belief. The gap between them widened until United's dream of back-to-back European dominance collapsed. That summer, Ronaldo finally got his world record move to Madrid. Whether he liked it or not, Rooney was now the main man at United. But just as the stage was set for his rise, Rooney became a media punching bag. Pictures of his summer partying plastered tabloids, and headlines mocked his physique, calling him Shrek and Captain Fatso. Pundits claimed he didn't have the character to lead United. But Rooney responded the only way he knew how, one goal at a time. By Christmas, he had 11 goal contributions in 11 games. Then, against Hull City, he scored 4 goals in a single match for the first time in his career. Days later, he netted an injury-time winner against Manchester City in the League Cup semi-final. Then came a 2-goal performance against AC Milan, another brace against West Ham, and a goal in the League Cup final to lift the trophy. He was proving everyone wrong. The second leg against Milan saw him score twice more, making it 4 goals in the tie. Then came another winner against Liverpool, prompting Steven Gerrard to call him the best player in the world. In the Champions League quarter-finals, he scored against Bayern Munich, bringing his tally to 18 goals in 13 games. Even Messi and Ronaldo couldn't keep up with his 30 goals that season. United were top of the league, and Rooney was on course for a treble. All he needed was one more big game against Bayern. Then, disaster struck again. Rooney limped off injured. A week later, he pushed himself to start the second leg, even managing an assist, but had to come off after 55 minutes. From the bench, he watched United concede and crash out on away goals. Things only got worse. During the 2 weeks he was sidelined, United dropped 4 crucial points, handing Chelsea the Premier League title. The PFA Player of the Year award was a small consolation, but it couldn't erase the heartbreak. There was still hope. Maybe this would be the year he finally reached the Ballon d'Or podium. But it was a World Cup year, and his struggles continued. Playing second striker to Jermaine Defoe, Rooney had a miserable tournament. His most memorable moment? Shouting angry words into the camera after England's elimination. The media tore him apart, and when reports surfaced of an alleged scandal involving second-rate celebrities while his wife was 5 months pregnant, his reputation took another massive hit. Rooney saw trouble brewing at Manchester United under the Glazers and made a shocking move, demanding a transfer. The football world was stunned when reports linked him to Manchester City. Even Sir Alex Ferguson, usually in control, seemed shaken. Assistant coach René Meulensteen later admitted that if it had been Barcelona, Ferguson might have accepted it, but City was unthinkable. Somehow, Ferguson convinced Rooney to stay, and 4 days later, he signed a 5-year deal. Yet, as a great man once said, there would forever be a residue of mistrust. His form dipped, injuries returned, and by January, he found himself playing second striker behind Dimitar Berbatov. Despite 9 assists and 15 starts, Rooney failed to score from open play and wasn't even nominated for the Ballon d'Or after what was likely his best season. But he bounced back, scoring his iconic bicycle kick against Manchester City and delivering in every Champions League round. He secured United the league title, but in the final against Barcelona, his goal was their only shot on target in a crushing defeat. Determined, he started the next season in blistering form, 10 goal contributions in 5 games, including a hat-trick in an 8-2 demolition of Arsenal. He finished 5th in the Ballon d'Or rankings, behind only Messi, Ronaldo, Xavi, and Iniesta. That season, Rooney was relentless, 3 goals against Chelsea and Arsenal, 2 against Tottenham, Liverpool, and City, totaling 25 goal contributions in 23 games. But it all fell apart when Sergio Aguero's last-minute goal stole the title. The heartbreak marked his decline. After a poor Euro 2012, his manager claimed he only performed for United. The next season, Van Persie took the spotlight, and Rooney, frustrated, flirted with Chelsea before staying. As United collapsed, Moyes was sacked. Named captain, his pace faded, and he transitioned into midfield. By Mourinho's arrival, he was a squad player, and his final United appearance lasted just 1 minute in the Europa League final. A brief return to Everton saw glimpses of brilliance, including a stunning goal, earning him an England recall. 2 years in MLS produced spectacular moments before he retired at Derby County. As the Premier League's second highest goal scorer and third in assists, his legacy is undeniable, yet there's always a sense he could have done even more. Thank you for watching! Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.